Hey guys, it's Gus, and the new trial's been out for a couple weeks now, the Defense of the Moondancer. And I've been running a lot of the Master and Advanced ones. I've been running Advanced because if you want all the gears from the collections, you have to run Advanced. And I've changed my build substantially or considerably so much since this trial started. Big shout out to Denzel. He's an Xbox player in the HR community. They're a really good team. They're on Xbox. They got their cape today from the new trial, which they're probably the first ones on Xbox. Big shout out to you guys. Congrats. But Denzel pointed me in the right direction. This whole build basically comes from his inspiration. And when I first started this trial, I was built on a lot of trying to do as much damage to all the mobs as possible. Well, there's a downside to that. The mobs are not an issue in this trial. The issue are the lieutenants. And you need to hit those lieutenants as hard as you possibly can so you can kill them as fast as you can. Because the longer the lieutenants are out, the more you're going to die. And the more you die, the more likely it's going to be a wipe. So I changed my build considerably. Let's go over stats first. I know everybody loves those. I'm using a flask of potency plus one, a squash soup, Sunlord's gift elixir, and a ratatouille. And I also have the campfire buff on. Which you're always going to have going into a new trial until you die. So stats, power's at 72.3, but you're getting 15% from the Raptor and 4,500 from the Runic and Mystic Aura, which will put us at like 92%. And this is the only stat I'm over, and I don't mind being over on power because if you move away from the Mystic or Runic Aura, you're going to lose part of that buff temporarily. So this helps ensure you don't waste it. Accuracy is currently at 77.3, but you're getting 2,250 ratings from the Mystic Aura, 7.5% from the Lightning, and 1.75% from the Detector's Pendants Forte, which will put us at 88.75%. Combat advantage is at 71% or 66.1. You're going to get 7% from the Detector set, 5% from the Tutor, 3.375% from 2 times pack tactics, and 7.5% from acute senses, which will put us at 88.975. So I would like to have that 1.25%. But that's where the the perfect totem comes in. So without this, I'm at 88.75%. But with it, I'm overcapped. I die a lot in this trial. I play really aggressive, and I'm still trying to figure out the timing where I can still get those hindering strikes in as much as possible without dying. But 88.9% is good enough in my book. I actually don't like being at 90%. I like being between 89 and 90. Because once you're over 90, you're wasting your builds, wasting some potential. Crit strike. Crit strike's at 75.2. You're going to get 7.5% from this chest piece, and you're going to get 7.5% from the lightning, which puts us at 90.2. Ugh. I would lower that 200 rating if there was somewhere else I could put it in this build. Possibly in accuracy I could, but I have not figured out how to do it yet. But it's over by 0.2% on crit strike. Uh, Crit severity 79.5. You're going to get 7.5% from this chest piece, and you're going to get 2.5% from this ring whenever there's two or more enemies, which is basically 99% of the time in this new trial. So we're at 89.5 crit severity. I wouldn't mind having one more point in dexterity to bring that from 89.5 to a perfect 90, but I already have all my points in strength and dexterity, so I can't. The gears, I'm running with the accuracy helm, and I know this is goes against the grain of running with the lightning or the crit helm. This one I like because it's up 100% of the time unless your stamina's down. While the crit helm, it takes you're gonna have downtime in that dungeon where you're gonna lose all 10 stacks, and it takes a while to get those 10 stacks up. So I don't know which one's best, but I'm sticking with the accuracy. I'm also using the crit sev chess piece. I've normally ran with the combat advantage accuracy one for so long, but I can just make this one work in the build a little bit better. I'm still running with the healing mitts from Master Demon Web Pits. Note to this: if we have a paladin in the group giving the 4% crit aura, I'm taking off these gloves and I'm gonna put on the AP gloves to get another, 700 item level or 650 item level. But we don't always have a paladin giving the 4% crit sev. But that's what I'm gonna do if we do have one. Also, you're using the new weapons. If you don't have the master ones, the mythic ones yet, that's fine. You can still earn the legendary ones from the advanced version. And the currency, they're actually pretty cheap to buy. I know the advanced one is challenging, but it's not nearly as challenging as the master one. And if you stick to it, you'll get through there. The the legendary ones give almost the exact same everything. The mythic ones just give. You see where it looks in the it says in the stats right there, ratings where it's giving 250 damage. That is not in the legendary version, and these are slightly higher item level too. We're using the Starhard boots to give 5% damage in wild space. We're using the Detector's pendant. Okay, the Detector set. This one, I know people are gonna go, "What? You're a hunter ranger. You shouldn't use this." I think we should. And I have it, unless somebody has a reason not to use it, please, if you have a better reason, please comment below. So what this set does is when you attack with encounter power, you get 1% combat advantage, 1% forte, and 1% healing for 10 seconds. 7 stacks. So you get 7% CA and 7% forte. Now, the 7% healing, probably not so much. Uh, But the thing is that stack refreshes. So if you're at your ninth second and you use hindering shot, it refreshes back to 10 seconds. So this is up basically the entire fight, except when you're jumping ships, right? Or at the very start of battle. This has a very high uptime. And there's a couple downsides. You're losing 6 strength by using it. And strength is a 0.25% multiplicative damage multiplier. So if you're losing 6 strength, you're losing 1.5% overall damage. Well, here's the deal. When you equip the set, you gain 1400 item level, which is 1.495% base damage increase, which is 5,000 less damage. But you're getting 45,000 extra hit points by doing it, and your companion's hitting a little bit harder. So I'm liking this set, and I do know recharge is a big deal, but here's the deal with recharge and what I'm seeing. I could be wrong. Because we're using tactician's precision in there, I'm using 13 straight encounters. I can never get off all 13 encounters in a row. Very rarely can I do it because there's a lot of red, right? You have to move in that trial a lot. So if I had more recharge speed, I might be able to get 15 straight encounters, but I can't because there's never enough time to do it. So I'm not noticing the loss of recharge speed at all in this new trial. And this build is not for Zemnid. It's not for Tom. This is for the Moondancer build. So I know I'm losing 15% recharge. I know I'm losing, instead of getting 7.5% offensive stats, we're getting 8.75% offensive stats, 7% combat advantage, and 1.75% accuracy, as well as some power if you want to throw the power in there. Um, but yeah, I'm using the detector set. The other downside is you have to use an artifact. The MC set does not require an artifact to make the set. Another downside is this artifact has 2 offensive ratings instead of 3. So you're losing out some ratings by using this. But if you're the only one in the group with the set, you should be using this artifact because instead of it lasting 10 seconds, it lasts 12 seconds. So every time the group leader doesn't put me on it, I should say, "Hey, nobody else is using this in this set except for me, so let me do it." I don't give a shit. If we were trying to do a speed run, maybe I would bring it up. But for the rings, I'm using the 5% crit strike. And whenever you have 2 or more enemies, you get 2.5% crit sev, which to me is basically 100% of this trial. And then we're using the 3.5% damage in wild space. I'm still using the CA shirt, the old 1300 level crusty dragon bone bale Dirt cheap, 5% combat advantage. Now, I will take this off, and the build's ready to take it off. If the group says we need combat advantage, I will go and put on aspect of the pack, and then I will take off this 5% shirt, and I'll put on. I have two choices. I can go with the new shirt that can give us 3.5% damage, or I can go with the 1% cooldown shirt. I don't know yet. The problem is I don't know how cooldowns would help in this dungeon, this trial. Maybe get your hindering strike back a little bit faster for the mob ball from the arc, from the CWs. Put them in a ball for us. I don't know yet. But most groups are not asking for aspect to the pack. I will gladly run it for the group, and if I do, I'll take off this five, this shirt, and gain 500 more item level, and get more cooldowns or 3.5% outgoing damage. And I'm still using the I'm not using the new pants. I'm using the hatred pants still. The reason being is you build AEP from these pants whenever you do combat advantage damage. And if you have a paladin in the group and you're using these gloves, oh, I haven't equipped them yet. I'll be damned. These ones build whenever you do crit. Oh wait, though this is okay. Never mind. I thought this was gonna be got the bonuses mixed up. Critically strike, and these gloves are whenever you just do damage. Okay, so you can stack them. I think I'd have to test that, but I'm still going with the hatred pants, just because I know I could get 50 more item level. But this pants work perfectly in the build I set up. So the one artifact you have to have is the portable spelljammer for the set. You can use any, preferably 1500 item level triple offensive stat artifacts, and then this one's wide open. I hate using the demo, but that's nobody likes using it, so I'll use it. I'll use whatever the group needs. I don't care. But actually, a lot of times, been running with the this one right here because I don't care. You're gonna lose a little. Whatever makes your hoster's job easier is what you need to do, unless you're hosting. But I have the demo equipped, builds built around it. But if they have me go Meritless Mask or Wand of Domination, I can just move all through. I have 4 debuffs that I'm built to. All 4 of these are debuff artifacts. I can build around all of them. So hopefully the hoster asked me to use one of these. I wouldn't mind using the 1500 item level so I can get 300 more item level to bring it up to 95.354 item level, but it's okay. Uh, when I was saying earlier that this build is built around killing lieutenants, this build hits hard as shit. You know, the perfect weapons aren't that much lower item level, but they give stats. These give outgoing damage, and these boots give outgoing damage, and this ring gives outgoing damage. And when you do, you know, in that 10 seconds that you're doing your artifact, your daily, your mount power, 8 encounter powers, you are hitting that lieutenant so damn hard. And usually the lieutenant will be dead before you can even get off all your encounters if everybody's timing it right. What I do like about this build is there's no wasted ratings. I am wasting 0.2% crit sev, and I'm wasting a bunch of power, but the power I'm okay with because when I'm not in the dungeon using this build, I'm not getting all those bonuses. Or if somebody with those bonuses is away from me, I'm still keeping the power up. Enchantments, 3 citrines, 1 jade. We still have the garnet in the utility. It's always probably going to be there unless they come up with something better. And you can either use amethyst or garnets. Amethyst give you awareness. Devil's Precision, Rage of Flames. Now, what I do know is it I've seen ACT of the Astral Elf Slayer doing 4.1% overall damage in this trial. 4.1% is really good. That's way more than what this 5% Rage of Flames is doing. But what I don't know is if the Astral Elf Slayer works on the lieutenants. And if it doesn't work on the lieutenants, I don't care if the Astral Elf Slayer increases my damage by 10%. You gotta kill the lieutenants and not chase the board. You gotta hit the priorities. Um, when we first started the trial, we had everybody's on our arcane singularity, and things got way better when we only had like two arcane singularities, and everybody else went like ice knife or whatever their dailies are called. You gotta focus on single target. And I don't know if the Astral F Slayer works on the lieutenants. I believe Aragon tested it. I could be wrong. I don't want to quote him, but I believe he mentioned it might not. I could be wrong. If it doesn't work on lieutenants, it's to me it's useless. Using the lightning enchantment for when the trial first came out, I was built around hitting a lot of mobs, trying to kill the mobs fast with the curse burn. But the thing is, the mobs are not an issue. It's the lieutenant. So I went back to a more single target focus. I know I could use the AP gain, but I really like movement speed. It's my favorite stat in the game. And as an HR, if you want to maximize your damage in this trial, you gotta be in the middle. And the mobs are always have a big fat red circle underneath them. So you gotta get in, do your hindering strike, and get out as fast as you can. And movement speed lets you do that, or helps you do that. I'm usually only using aim shot. If I go in with the hindering strike and dash out or jump back, and there's still a bunch of mobs there, like 5+ mobs, I will use split shot. But for the vast majority of the time, I'm using aim shot. I don't change my encounters at all. When you first go in the cabin, you got those three groups of mobs come up. You could use plant growth, and then you got to go downstairs and go against your first lieutenant, and then you switch from plant growth over to longstriders. But the problem is, what I noticed is when you're going down the stairs and you're trying to swap your power, by the time you do it, they're already through the door attacking. So I don't want to waste any time where I could be attacking that lieutenant. So I'm sticking. I use these three powers the whole entire trial. I know you can get a little bit more damage using plant growth and cordon on the useless mobs, but I'm not. This build is very competitive. I mean, very competitive. As an HR, you can keep toe to toe with basically every class in this game. From what I've seen, I am very curious though about one class. I won't bring it up, but it's a class that has a really big hit, and all the damage they do when all the mobs go into that big hit. I'm really curious how they would do in there. But Longstriders, constricting, hindering. Slasher's mark, disruptive shot. For me, whenever I'm attacking and I have full AP and I know I won't be attacking lieutenants for like another 10, 15 seconds, I'll use a disruptive shot. Uh, and I'm noticing I'm getting a lot of hits with more than disruptive using disruptive shot. Because if you're saving your daily and you're only using Slasher's Mark, you're wasting a lot of your daily power. So I'm using this whenever I can. Um, Seeker's Vengeance. This one might raise some eyebrows. Crushing Roots. Crushing Roots increases your roots from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. The thing is, mobs never last 6 seconds in there. They never last 3 seconds. So I don't see a point on crushing roots. And on the lieutenants, because we're using tactician's precision to reset our encounters, I can basically have 100% uptime on roots without using crush roots on the lieutenant. So I'm not using crushing roots. I'm not seeing it, uh, any advantageous reason to do so. So I'm doing aspect of the Falcon. Shit, aspect of the serpent might be actually better than aspect of the falcon, but the problem is I don't. I my rotation is not solid enough in this trial yet to work with aspect of the serpent. Um, Now if it was a slow melt group, like a slow burn group, I would probably go back. I would go from aspect of the falcon back to crushing roots. Powers are the same. Rate of change, thorn roots. I'm using predator, believe it or not. I know you could get more AP from biting snares, but I'm not needing the AP. For trial and error, I started out with biting snares, but I figured out I didn't need all that AP. So I'm back to Predator to help kill that lieutenant faster. Force Bond to reduce your cooldowns, and more than disruptive. I know somebody could say more than Slasher's expertise would help on the lieutenants more. You might be right. You might be right, because I'm always using a Slashers on the lieutenant. So following up with a gushing wound and hindering strike on the lieutenant, those will get a damage boost. But um, I'm using a lot of disruptives in there, so I'm sticking with that for now. You could go either one, though. Either one, whatever floats your boat. I don't know which one's better, but I'm liking more than disruptive is fun to use because it makes you jump around a lot. Boons, defense or awareness. I'm still using revive sickness in there. I'm telling you, if you're not dying while you're learning, you're not playing aggressive enough. You got to be aggressive if you want to be HR and pull your weight and damage. And I probably died more than I should, but it's okay. Hasn't hurt the groups yet. And crit strike, whatever stat your group needs. Compound bonuses. Okay, this is everybody's gonna have mixed emotions on this. 105 boon points is still so many boon points. Uh, I still have all these in power. I probably don't need it. I could probably take off these 10 boons right here and shove them somewhere else. Focus, get all your crit severity, combat advantage, and accuracy boons. Marathon runner, hit points. I have 4 points in master class, 4 points in call of power, 4 points in quick turnaround. The only two you really need are life lessons and bloodlust. Bloodlust is your party over life lessons. This gives you a straight up 3% multiplicative damage gain. Life lessons procs off of at wills, and we're not using at wills that much in this trial. We use a lot of encounters. I just have points in here for Death's Bulwark. It can give you up to, hit points and defense and crit avoidance. I'm not saying it's helpful, but you got to put the points somewhere. And I also got points here for to give me more offensive stats, even though they're all capped. But crit sev is at 89.5. If I die, I lose campfire bonus, so I'm at 89%. So I could use that 1% crit sev, right? The combat advantage I could use if we lose the pack tactics. I just don't know where else to put them. I guess I could put 4 more points here in hit points. Give me 0.8% more health. Once you have all your boons, there's still more boon points than you really need. I guess I could put some points here in demonic, but I don't think there's any demons in this trial. I don't know if there's any dinosaurs, and I don't know if there's any undead. Companions, uh, whatever the group needs. Typically, you're going to see a Dritz. Excuse me one second. You're going to see a Dritz and a tutor. Um, yeah, I think having at least one tutor or Black Death Scorpion is a good thing because combat advantage on that lieutenant, you move one small degree to left or right, you might lose that combat advantage. So the Black Death helps. Um, it's not uncommon to see the tanks using lions. Though the master version is very, very challenging for tanks. You can play perfectly, and it still seems like there might be RNG involved. That captain hits those tanks super hard. So if they need more survivability, the lions won't hurt them at all with that survivability. It will only help them. Everybody else who's not running support typically will go Minotaur. I would say Shadowcar Witch, but the issue we're thinking we're noticing with her is when you're trying to slow down the burn, the Shadowcar Witch does not stop. She is aggressive. But if you back away, the Minotaur will come with you. So you could still use Regis. You could use Zuna. You could use the Intellect Devour. But again, you know, it's all about mob control and not killing the mobs fast. Whatever helps the group. The mobs are not an issue in this trial. If everybody's ready to go, the mobs are going to die. You got to focus on what's going to help you beat the lieutenants. The four same equip bonuses that everybody's using: Batiri, Minsk, Neverwinter Night, Raptor. I have no problem whatsoever running a no Raptor build if the group wants to. Zero issue with that. And Alchemist Discipline. Now I know if we run with a Paladin, I wouldn't need that crit strike, so I can run with Dark Dealings to get 3.75% accuracy. But I mean, I only need 1.25%, so I'd be wasting all that. So People will do anything they can to cap stats, include wasting stats, which is a horrible idea, in my opinion. So get the most out of what you can, not waste anything, pack a big punch. I'm stuck. I'm bottlenecked with these companion gears. If you go to the campaign store, if you go to the campaign store, campaign, and you go to Light of Zar, however it's pronounced, the companion gears, they're fairly cheap. The doubloons are easy to get. The 50k AD is easy to get. The problem is you need 55 Zerillion marks, if I pronounce that right. You need 55 of them, and you get 100 per week. So I was able to get 3 of these. If you want to get the triple slot ones, they cost 150. So you need 5 weeks of currency to get these companion gears. And I didn't want to wait that long, so I got the combat advantage crit sev one, and I put on all 3 of them. The reason being is these are 1800 item level, and the ones that we're using from previously were 1600 item level. So you get an extra 200 item level. Times that times 3, that's 600 item level. Now that's significant damage. Maybe not a percent, but it's significant. And 6,000 hit points. Acute senses. I mentioned that when I was talking about stats, but I'm using acute senses. Mounts. Executioner's Covenant, Warlord's Inspiration, or Warlord's Motivation. I'm sorry, that's the new one that gives 12% damage to your companion. Uh, 2 Tactician's Precision and a Gladiator's Guile. For me, if I had to get rid of all these and keep one, it would be Gladiator's Guile. I love it. The Tactician's Precision is amazing. We can use this to our benefit. Very good as a Hunter Ranger. The Warlord's Motivation is not that much damage. The Executioner's Covenant gives us 6,000 offensive ratings. And as if you noticed, I'm not wasting a single rating. I use all 6,000 of them. I need those ratings. So it's a very good, excuse me. I've had a cold, so I couldn't wait any longer to make this build video. I don't know much longer I'll have it for. So, um, sorry about the interruption. Oh yeah, I was saying the ratings. I need. Look, I'm not wasting any ratings. So, this Executioner's Covenant is giving me 6% offensive stats. I know I'm losing 6% defensive stats, but I'm okay with that. Um, I don't know if none of these are getting the 100 item level preferred bonus. If somebody knows a way to use 2 Tacticians, Gladiators, Warlords, and Executioners, and to be able to get at least one more um, preferred slot out of it, that'd be great. I would not mind having an extra 100 item level. I just couldn't figure out a way. The collars are the exact same collars I've been using forever. Movement speed, gold gain, crit sev, um, stamina regen, and encounter powers do 5% more damage. If you don't have mythic collars, that's fine. Very few people do. Legendary, fine. If you don't have legendary, that's fine too. Epic are just fine as well. What's nice about this high item level build, besides it hitting like a truck, is if you run the master or the advanced version, you take off these gloves, lose 3% crit severity, and you put on these gloves that you get from doing the invasions and get almost 10% outgoing damage. These gloves are so good. Here, let me cue in this trial real quick. I'll show you why. Defense of the Moondancer, advanced. Let's go in there. And while it's loading, whatever insignias you need to make this happen, but as you can see on Executioners, I have skill, brutality, aggression, dominance, precision, dominance, aggression, dominance, brutality, dominance, skill, dominance, brutality. And if I was running a no raptor build, every one of these would be tranquilities or dominance, and brutalities for the ones that couldn't fit the spots. Uh, the companions, you can use the single target. The single target works really good in there too. Like Regis and Zuna look sexy when they do that big AoE hit, right? But the green scale bowmans doing that poison damage to the lieutenants. That's a lot of damage. to that lieutenants. So if we go here, look at I'm getting a 9.3% damage increase in this advanced version. This build is destroying the advanced version. I mean, it is doing disgusting numbers. It's fun. I'm not used to doing this much damage. I think you'll enjoy it. So here's my Moondancer build. I don't want to say mod 27 because, you know, the the trial to run is still Zemnid and still Master Tiamat if you want to make AD. So I would not recommend these builds in Tiamat or Zemnid whatsoever because this this weapon set, you lose your bonuses in there. These boots are useless in there. This ring is useless in there. So this is strictly for the new trial. If you got any questions, comments, or improvements, or disagree with anything, please comment below. Stay classy, Neverwinter. See you soon.